Now that we know what binomial expansion is, let us talk about its general term and its middle term. General and middle term in a little more detail and solve some of the questions based on general term and middle term. Okay, we said that expansion of x plus y raised to power n can be written like this: sigma r goes from 0 to n, ncr x raised to power n minus r, y raised to power r. So whatever is written here, we write it as power of the second term and then subtract it from n minus r and write it as power of x. What I am saying is, if let us say I have got x plus y raised to power 5 and I am expanding it. So if I am, let us say I am writing its third term, so it will be something like this: 5c2 y raised to power 2. So whatever I write here, I write here also. 5c2 y raised to power 2, x will be raised to 5 minus 2, 3. So this will be the third term. How do I know that it will be third term? Because we have also studied that what will be this expansion. We will start with 5c0, right? First term will have 5c0 in it. Second term will have 5c1 in it. So third term will have 5c1 and some expression here. What is that expression? We already know. It will be x raised to power 4y and this will be x raised to power 5, right? So third term will have 2 here. Similarly, what is this term here? It has got r here. So it is r plus 1th term that we are talking about. So this general term, if I write the general term like this, ncr x raised to power n minus r, y raised to power r. This is r plus 1th term that I am talking about, right? We know that the terms of this expansion start from nc0. This is first term, which will have this coefficient. In second term, I'll have nc1, second 1, third 2, rth r minus 1 and r plus 1th r. So this is how it goes. So this general term is the r plus 1th term of binomial expansion. This. Now let us think about what middle term will be. So if I have got x plus y raised to power n. Now I don't know if n is odd or even. There can be two cases when n is odd and n is even. Now I know what will be the number of terms in it. Number of terms will be one more than this power, that is n plus 1. So if n is odd, what will be n plus 1? It will be even, right? And when you have got even number of terms, for example 1, 2, 3, 4, these are even number of terms, 4 terms I have written, then what will be the middle term? Middle term, I'll have 2 middle terms. I won't have a single middle term. We have studied about such things in statistics class 10th. So what will be middle term? I'll have 2 middle terms here. And what will be those terms? Or which term will be that middle term? For example, I've got n equal to 4 here. So if I ask you which term will be middle term, I'll say 4 by 2th term and 4 by 2 plus 1th term. This is how we say 4 by 2 is second term and then third term. Now I have got n plus 1 as number of terms. So if it is even, then this will be one of the middle terms and another middle term will be n plus 1 by 2 plus 1th, right? And how can you say it? N plus 1 by 2th, and this is nothing but n plus 3 by 2th. So these will be two middle terms when n is odd, or when n is odd, or number of terms is n plus 1, that is even. So we will say that these two terms will be the middle terms. Okay, what about this? Now n plus 1 is even. You remember this? So this will be an integer. N plus 1 is even, so it will be completely divided by 2. So this is integer, right? So you don't have to worry about it. This is an integer. for example it comes out to be 5, let us say, then I know how to find T5. When n is even, so number of terms, that is n plus 1, will be odd, and when number of terms are odd, for example in this example, I will find the middle term as exactly one term, which is this one in this case. So how do I find middle terms? Like this. This is my middle term. So what will be that middle term? If these were 5 terms, so third term was my middle term. How do I obtain this? 5 plus 1 by 2. So I'll add number of terms plus 1 and divide it by 2. And it will be completely divided by 2. Why? Because n plus 1 is odd. If I add 1 in it, it will become even, and even number is completely divided by 2. So n plus 2 by 2th term will be my middle term if n is even. I hope you got this idea. So before moving to the questions, what I want to say is, I don't want you to memorize these things. I just want you to be clear about this, that if I've got 5 terms, then 5 plus 1 by 2, that is third term, will be the middle term. Or let us say, let us not memorize this and deal with all the questions and see whether we have to memorize that this n plus 1 by 2 and n plus 3 by 2 term are required. So you don't have to memorize it like this, because we are just talking about a middle term. We can do it there and then without even the formula, right? So this much we can think. Let's move to the question. So let's think about this question. Find A if 17th and 18th term of the expansion are equal. So when we are talking about 17th term, we just need to think in this term, that T17 is nothing but T16 plus 1, because the expression for general term that we have is TR plus 1, which is NCR x raised to power n minus r y raised to power r, when we are talking about expansion of x plus y raised to power n. This is the general term. So when 17th term we need to talk about, then r will be 16. See, and 17th and 18th terms are equal. So what is the 17th term? 17th term is equal to T16 plus 1, that is r is 16, and n we know is 50 in this case. So let me write this term, 50cr, that is 50c16, and a, that is 2 raised to power 50 minus 16, and a raised to power 16. This is the 17th term. What about 18th term? 18th term is T17 plus 1. So 50C17, 2 raised to power 50 minus 17, a raised to power 17. And it is given in the question that these two terms are equal. And I need to find value of a. So if I put them equal, let us put them equal here itself. So 50C17, 2 raised to power 50 minus 17 is what? 33, and a raised to power 17 here. And let us delete rest of these things. So let us get rid of this now, because we have already written it above. So this was 18th term, right? T17 is equal to T18. That gives me this equality, right? So now what I can do is I can cancel this and write a here. This is 2 raised to power 34. This is 2 raised to power 33. So I'll write 2 here. Okay. And what about a? A I need to find out. A is equal to twice of 50C16 divided by 50C17. This looks like a simple thing to calculate. Let's see how simple is it. So 50 factorial by 16 factorial into 34 factorial divided by 50 factorial divided by 17 factorial into 33 factorial. 50 factorial gets cancelled here, and you know 17 factorial can be written, what I'll write here is 17 factorial I'll write as 17 into 16 factorial, and 34 factorial I'll write as 34 into 33 factorial. These two things I'm going to do with this expression. So this will be 2 into, this will come in the numerator, right? 17 I am writing as 17 into 16 factorial into 33 factorial here, divided by this expression, which is 16 factorial into 34 into 33 factorial. So this will get cancelled, this will get cancelled. 17 into 2 is 34, 2 will also get cancelled. So this is equal to 1. A comes out to be equal to 1. This was simple calculation.